Hello everyone and welcome to the Chatty Corner. I am your host as always, Bob the Pet Ferret, and this is hopefully going to be a brand new, much better Chatty Corner than ever before. That is my plan, at least, so we'll see how that goes. So, there have been no Chatty Corners over the last 2 weeks, and the reason for that is because I'm kind of in a bit of a crossroads moment, if you will. Nothing bad, don't worry. But I've just been kind of having a look at some of the stuff that I do and how my channel works and sort of the quality of my commentary and that sort of thing, and kind of going, I need to improve this. This doesn't mean anything bad. They said, this isn't going to be, oh, here comes a hiatus again and I'm going to take off loads of time and you won't see me for months. No, that's not going to happen. The channel is going to continue. Of course it is. That was the old me. The old me was the one who, didn't feel things were going very well, would just quit and start over. But no, this is me continuing as always, but hopefully seeing some improvements over the coming weeks in how the channel does. And hopefully this Chatty Corner is a good sign of that improvement. Hopefully some of the upcoming Ferrets Firsts this month will also show some of that improvement. So, and I'm going to sort of continue on this quest of trying to improve everything, make the channel as awesome as possible, as always. Because I kind of feel like I fell into a bit of a rut where I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing much, and everything kind of just fell into a sort of routine. I was just doing things because they were on my schedule, kind of thing, and that's never a good way of doing things. And I'm sort of trying to get a bit more enthusiastic again about how I do things. For instance, I do have a bit of an issue with my Tomb Raider Let's Play, which is all finished recording now, but I'm not 100% happy with it. There's plenty of good moments, and it's going to continue as intended. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep going, but I apologise in advance for it not being particularly good. Like, I don't think it's great, so I'm going to try and improve that with future Let's Plays, and try and... Because usually when it came to recording, it was like, end of the day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to record it, but I just didn't really have any plan, direction, or anything like that. It was just, I'm going to find all the secrets. And I think there was a situation where, in trying to find all the collectibles, there were moments where just things weren't entertaining because I was spending a lot of time just looking for collectibles. So I aim to improve on this with Uncharted 4, which hasn't started recording as I put this out there. It will start recording this week, but it will not hopefully go the same way as Tomb Raider. Because what I'm doing is I'm kind of sitting down with the game a bit more before I record. I've already sat down with the first few chapters of it and kind of gone, okay, this is how I want to do things, so hopefully it'll flow better, it'll be a lot more interesting to watch, it'll be a lot more entertaining and informative, because the thing that I'm trying to build the channel around is entertaining walkthroughs of games that I think are cool. So there are 3 elements to this. Entertaining, and I feel like I've been slipping a little bit on this, that I haven't been as engaged with things as possible, and that's bad, because that engagement makes the entertainment. Walkthroughs, the second element of it, so in order for that to work, I need to just show you how to play the game well, and I think some of the things in Tomb Raider, for instance, I wasn't really doing things at the best that I could possibly do them. And hopefully, again, I want to fix that with Uncharted 4. So, there you go. And games that I think are cool, my whole point is that I want to play games that I enjoy and I think are fun, and that is true of the Tomb Raider reboot, but I want to sort of sell them to you. Like, not literally, because I'm not sponsored by any game companies before anyone says anything. But I do want to try and just show off the games and be like, hey guys, look at this is great. And that's definitely going to be a thing with Uncharted 4. I can guarantee that. So hopefully my plan is that Uncharted 4 is going to be better than the Tomb Raider reboot was. But the Tomb Raider reboot will continue running as it is, in the state that it's in. Gravity Rush is almost finished, and it is going to be the last part this week. I know I said it was the last part last week, but I fooled you all, because if you watched it, you'll know that it ends with a to be continued, because there are 21 chapters, not 20. So that's coming to an end. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I do intend on doing some sort of retrospective on that in the coming weeks. I don't know what form that's going to take. Maybe I'll do it as part of the Chatty Corner next week. We shall see. I could always do like a separate little extra Chatty Corner on the weekend where Gravity Rush normally would be, because it will be a few weeks before Uncharted 4 gets started. Again, it will not be as big a gap as it was between Mirror's Edge and Tomb Raider. It will be a much smaller gap. I've had a lot of people ask me what happened to PlayStation All-Stars Remastered, and again, the whole thing of like I've not really been sitting and thinking about my channel in ways that I should have been, that kind of just fell to the wayside and I kind of just dropped it. That doesn't mean that I'm giving up on it. In fact, within the last week or so, I have picked up on the notes again. And my plan is to go through those notes and get those solidly, because I hadn't really got a plan. It was just kind of like, oh, I'll go through it and I'll do the little bits here and there, blah, blah, blah. It didn't really happen. It didn't really go the way I wanted it to. And my original plan was I'll get one out a week, and it didn't happen because the plan was that I would get up to Cat next week. So as in, Gravity Rush would finish and then Cat's video would go up the next week. But it's obviously not going to happen because I've only done Sackboy. So, I do hear you, all the people who have commented saying, are you going to do any more? It's a bit weird that you've only done one. I will do more. Like I said, I'm already working back on the notes. And I will keep you informed. Right now, I'm going through them in order, all the way up to and including stowaways as I record this. By the time this goes up, I will probably have done one more. So hopefully maybe by the end of this month I'll have the notes done, and then I can start editing and stuff again. And I'll try and make that a thing that I do regularly. It is coming. There will be more PlayStation All-Stars Remastered. Hopefully they'll be relatively quick. Some that won't will be Cat and Spike. I can guarantee that, because I've got to edit all the footage for Cat again, because obviously it's completely new footage. And for Spike, I've lost the original project file, so I'm going to have to rebuild it. So that's going to add time to it, but the rest should be relatively quickly once I've got the notes done. Because like I said, in the past I was trying to do the notes and the editing at the same time, and then lots of things got in the way, and then it was kind of like a bit awkward to get back into, kind of thing. So last week, because I wasn't doing any recording last week, because I finished Tomb Raider and I was giving myself a week off before I start doing Uncharted 4, I'm just sort of sitting there going, okay, let's pick this up again, let's see what I've got in place, and let's see where I can go from here, and that's where I'm going now. I'm like, okay, let's get these notes sorted out. So that's my plan. It is happening, don't worry, it's coming back. And my final thing in terms of all these updates and things like that, because I'm trying to improve the channel in every way possible, I am completely open to any comments, suggestions, improvements, or requests that anyone has. After all, you guys watch me, and I believe in democracy, so if you guys have got anything to say that you feel that I don't do very well or could improve on, please let me know. I will welcome all comments like that. I am very big on constructive criticism. I'm very big on the idea of, like, you know, if something's not right, I'd like people to tell me so that I can work on it and make it better. I might not apply all suggestions, but I will definitely consider all suggestions. I will definitely take everything seriously and take everything on board. And that doesn't just go in relation right now, that's an ongoing thing. Anytime from this point going forward, if you have something that you feel needs to be improved, that you think I'm not doing very well, let me know. Again, the fact that I have been listening to people saying, where's your PlayStation All-Stars Remastered stuff? How come you only did one? I thought you were doing more. I am listening. I know it probably seems like I'm not, and that's something I do want to work on. I want to improve my communication with you guys as well. So we'll see how that works out in coming months, shall we? I've got a 3-month plan of like trying to improve videos over the next 3 months, trying to promote things a lot more in the last 3 months of the year and stuff like that. As a side note as well, since I mentioned the next 3 months, if anyone is going to be at 9 Worlds in London, I think I mentioned this before, but I'm bringing it up again. If anyone's going to be at 9 Worlds in London in August, I will be there. And if anyone's going to be at EGX in September, then I'm going to be there too. So those two are confirmed. And yeah, if anyone's going to that, send me a message. I, again, would like to interact more with people as well. So feel free to send me messages and things like that. Just to say hi if you want. Obviously you don't have to, but feel free. And if you've got channels of your own, remind me they exist or tell me they exist or something like that, and I'll definitely check them out because I want to try and maybe look at promoting more channels. I think I've mentioned this before that I want to do that, but it's a big thing that I want to do. And I want to get more serious about that in the next few months. So yeah, and I mentioned requests as well, you'll notice. That does mean, like, if you've got any requests for a game that you'd like to see me play, whether it's a full Let's Play, like the entertaining walkthrough of games that I think are cool, if there's something what you think, I'd like to see you do a full playthrough of that, then please put the suggestion forward. And there's always a chance that if you put a suggestion forward, it could be a game I've never played before, and I could go pick it up and do it as a Ferret's First. So there's that idea too. So feel free to drop suggestions at me, and I will try and act on them in some way. Certainly. Yeah, that's all the updates. It's a big chunk of updates because certain political decisions have made me very concerned about the future, and I'm just like, right, I need to get things sorted. I'm not going to go into that a little bit anymore because if you follow me on Twitter, you pretty much know how I feel right now. So, let's not get into that right now. I'm not going to go into last week's comments because there wasn't a thing last week and there wasn't a thing the week before. So it was a good couple of weeks ago since anyone left any comments on a Chatty Corner. So, but leave comments, please leave comments on anything that happens this week, and I will bring them up next week, as always. What am I currently playing? I am currently playing nothing new, because I'm pretty much at the point where I've cleared through everything exciting and new that I wanted to play, and there's not much on the immediate horizon. I would like to try out Insomniac's Song of the Deep game that's coming out soon, but I haven't got around to getting it yet. If it's even out yet, I don't know. I probably won't be like a day one thing with that. It'll just be whenever. So if that happens, I will tell you about it. But for now, I'm just focusing on the chronological game challenge, as always. The thing where I'm still ploughing ahead. I'm in 2001. I have been playing Fear Effect 2. I have been playing Sonic Adventure 2. And I have been playing Final Fantasy X. I've literally just started that because I finished Fear Effect 2. Fear Effect 2 is a little bit better than the first Fear Effect because the problem with the first Fear Effect, I don't know if I mentioned this when I was playing it at the time, it was good from like an aesthetic standpoint, from a story standpoint. It was definitely interesting as a sort of pseudo Resident Evil clone almost, but a lot more cinematic and linear. But there were moments of just pure frustration in that thing, and it was not great. But Fear Effect 2, they listened to a lot of those complaints. They addressed a lot of the problems, and it's a lot more user-friendly, and it's a lot more enjoyable as a result. There is a problem with one of the later chapters, of course, where it just goes back to the whole mess of the first game. Barely any checkpoints, but every single area you go through has the worst room. Aside from that, the Sonic Adventure 2, which I'm trying to get all the emblems in, probably not going to get all the emblems in because it involves doing the Chow stuff. Loads of people talk about the Chow stuff and say how much fun it is, but I take one look at it and go, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't really care to do anything here, so it tends to not go anywhere very fast. So, yeah. And also there's a few of the sort of challenge things that you do that I just don't enjoy very much. I do enjoy Sonic Adventure 2 a lot more than Sonic Adventure 1. I put up a review of Sonic Adventure 1 on my blog, of course, and I was not very favourable towards that game. And then I've started Final Fantasy X. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, of course, you will know my immediate reaction to that game is literally, I won't be able to take this game seriously at any point because the main character is literally Ratchet. Yes, I mean I already knew this, like Tidus being Ratchet, but it's been a while since I played Final Fantasy X, so going back to it now after playing years of Ratchet and Clank games, I'm just sitting there going, I'm just hearing Ratchet the whole time, just nothing else. And I kept making jokes about, I'm going to meet a robot buddy and we're going to go off on a wacky adventure, and then I remembered that Wacker is voiced by the guy who voices Bender in Futurama, and I went, Bender's his robot buddy. Great, good, fantastic, right? So it's a fun time is being had by all. That's what I've been playing, that sort of stuff. What have you guys been playing? Let me know. I'd really love to know. And if you've played any of those games and have any thoughts on those games that you want to share, any nostalgic memories or whatever, feel free. Let me know down below. So, now we get to the fun bit, the news. I suppose I should talk about the same thing that everybody else has been talking about, which is the whole CSGO gambling controversy, where I can't remember the names of the sites. It was it T Martin and Pro Syndicate basically advocating this site where you can gamble on Counter-Strike weapons and skins? I don't know the full thing, but I know it's some sort of shitty microtransaction thing, and of course you know very well how I feel about shitty microtransactions and how they have no place in any noble video game as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, so this game's got this whole economy built around skins, and you can buy skins and all this, but then you can sell those skins on, and now there's sites where you can gamble those skins for better skins, and there's real money involved here and there, and it's kind of skeevy and awkward. But then you've got people who have set up those sites, and they're YouTubers, and they're going onto YouTube, onto their channels, and telling their audience like, "Hey guys, I found this really great site, and it's so good, and you guys should check it out as well. It's so good, and look how much I'm winning on this site." And yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. And one of the guys behind it decided to put out an apology video where he's like petting his dog, going like, "Oh, but you still love me, don't you, little doggy?" And then he's talking to the camera in his really nice flash house that he's bought with all his gambling money, and he's sitting there going, "I'm so sorry, but I'm not sorry." It's such a crappy thing to do, as far as I'm concerned. The idea of taking some sort of sponsorship deal or being involved in something like that and actively lying to your audience, it rubs me the wrong way. Largely because here I am on a small channel trying to sort of gain a bit of a bigger audience for myself, and would I take sponsorships? Of course I would. I would take sponsorships if it meant that I could earn money doing this stuff that I love. I would absolutely do that. But if I did, I would clarify that it was a sponsorship. At no point would I try and pass it off as me just casually playing a game. In fact, there's a Ferret's First this month where I talk so positively about the game, I feel like I end up having to disclose that, look, I'm not actually paid to say this game's great. I've literally just played it and it's amazing. I really enjoyed what I just played of it. And then, but just to disclose, that is my opinion. Because I feel that strongly about it. Because guys, you guys watch what I do, and you listen to this thing every week, and I think that any channel that doesn't respect its audience is the worst. You know, I respect you guys because you watch what I do. You don't have to watch what I do, and I'm very grateful that you watch what I do. And yeah, if I was offered a sponsorship deal, if it was one of those deals where they were saying, "Oh, but you can't tell people this is a sponsored deal," I'd be like, "That's illegal. Get out of my office." So, yeah. Because even if it wasn't illegal, though, I'd be like, "But I'm going to tell them." "Oh, but you can't tell them." I'm telling them because it's fair. Because, yeah, if something's an ad, it needs to be illustrated that it's an ad. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, stuff like that is just, it shows a complete lack of respect for your audience and everyone involved in your channel. And it makes everyone else look bad. And it needs to not happen. In happier news, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but there was some concern over Persona 5 because they hadn't announced any sort of European release date and were being very quiet on Persona 5 getting a release in Europe at all. Because Atlas had ended whatever European operation they had, whatever deal they had with a publisher, and they were just kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. Fortunately, Deep Silver have stepped in, and they are going to be publishing Persona 5 in Europe. They have confirmed that this week, or was it last week? It was at some point. But they have confirmed that they are doing it. There's still no date, but we know it's getting a release at some point because Deep Silver are handling it, and they're going to be handling a lot of other Atlas games. I think that's pretty cool. But my question is, why isn't Sega doing any of this? Sega own Atlas. They've got a European division. I mean, they own Creative Assembly, which is an English developer. So why aren't they publishing it? That seems really weird. I don't know. But I'm just happy that it's coming out in Europe, because that's good. Just there is the slight irony. I'm going to bring back Mighty Number 9 again, because we haven't beaten that horse enough. But remember the anime fan at prom night, and how that was Deep Silver's fault? Now they're publishing a very anime-themed game. In fact, because they're publishing a ton of Atlas stuff in Europe, it's going to be... it's kind of funny. I just noticed that slight irony that the company that came up with the anime fan on prom night thing are publishing a whole lot of anime-style games in Europe now. So that's fun. In sillier news, Battlefield 1 apparently is going to have a pigeon mode, and my initial reaction to this was, do you get to play as a pigeon? Day one I'm buying that game and I'm only playing that mode. Turns out it's actually just a capture the flag thing where you have to get hold of a pigeon and hold on to that. That's still hilarious. Just the notion of just having these soldiers run around a battlefield and then just grabbing a pigeon and just hanging on to it for like 5 minutes and then they win just amuses me for some reason. Just that image, I'm just imagining this soldier like clutching this pigeon close to his chest while the pigeon is like flailing around trying to get away. And that's how my mind works, just in case you didn't realise that. But I would much rather if it was like you get to fly the pigeon itself and deliver messages around. Because you can fly a Zeppelin, you can fly a biplane apparently, so you should be able to fly as a pigeon. Just me that wants that? Alright, cool. Well, never mind, because Adam Boyes is leaving Sony. Some of you might not know who this guy is. He is, or was, in fact, he was in charge of third-party development, so third-party relations within Sony. So obviously third-party developers go to Sony to say, we want to release your game on PlayStation. They go through this guy and he works out the specifics of that, which is cool. But it seems that working with all these cool indie devs making cool indie projects has made him go, do you know what? I want to make my own cool indie project. And he's leaving to make his own game. It's kind of interesting though, because I have heard that there are at least 3 people who worked within indie dev liaison, if you will, who've left Sony to make their own games. So I just think it's this idea of like they've spent so much time on a business end of things. They've had all these cool developers just going, we're making this game because we really want to make a game. And they're just like, I want to make a game too. And I think they just all caught this sort of infectious kind of enthusiasm for making games. And they're like, I want to make games again. So they're all starting off to make games. It's definitely interesting though. It does definitely seems to be amicable. It does seem to be just like, I don't want to be a businessman anymore. I want to be a developer. And that's cool. That's cool. Maybe it's a sign of things shifting in the games industry at all, or it could just be someone had been in the wrong job for a very long time. If you're curious as to who he is, I think he does make an appearance in my PlayStation All-Stars Graveyard video, because I used footage of a PlayStation E3 conference, and it was when they showed off a lot of the indie projects that they're supporting, and I think he was on stage in that clip. So I think, if you're wondering who he is, I think that's him there. Might not be. I haven't checked, but yeah. Might be worth having a look. But it's definitely interesting, and it'd be interesting to see what game he gets involved in. But of course, the big story right now is Pokemon Go. Of course it is. We've been hearing tons of stuff about how Pokemon Go is completely reshaping society in its image. We are all bowing down to the Church of Pikachu, which, let's be honest, many of us have already been doing that for years. At the time of recording, I still can't play the goddamn thing because it got delayed in the UK because of server issues in the US that they wanted to sort before launching it anywhere else. Which is fair enough, and I'm not going to criticise them for that. If you've got a region that's like having server issues, releasing it in another region probably not the best idea. Before anyone comments to say that there is a workaround, I know there's a workaround, I just can't be asked to do it. So, and there is obviously the rumours, if you download, there's a likelihood that if you download things that way, you could get banned from the app when it gets released officially, and I don't want to take that risk because I want to enjoy playing Pokemon Go. I want to enjoy like going around and catching Pokemon in real life. I'm going to London in a month and just going to wander around London for a week catching Pokemon. That sounds like a pretty fun time for me. But hearing a lot of the stories around it, people going out and going on walks and stuff and just chatting with other people in ways that people haven't really been doing in society, and I like the sound of that. Obviously, there's certain less wonderful elements surrounding this. I know there was the story about someone being arrested because they were luring people to a place so that they could rob them of their smartphones, which was going to happen, of course it was. But the fact that overall it seems to be having a very positive attitude, and I've been reading a lot of sort of anecdotal things of people with mental health problems who kind of escape into video games. They're playing this and they're getting out the house and they're meeting people and it's helping with their mental health, which is great. It's fantastic, and I'm all for that. And I want to play this game. Hopefully, by the time this goes out, it'll actually be out, and then bye any level of productivity I would have had. I'm joking. I'm pretty sure I can work around it. It seems like the sort of game where you can just kind of play whenever, rather than like having to sit down and devote time to, which is fine by me. But it's definitely interesting to see like just how huge that has gotten. I've even read something where someone claimed that it was more popular than Tinder. I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's pretty good, and it's interesting to see how popular it is. And just seeing some of the silly stuff that's coming out around it as well. Like, there was the Westboro Baptist Church had ended up becoming a gym, which was being protected by a Clefairy called Lover's Love. And I found that so funny. The fact that they then kind of responded and said that they were going to fight back with a Jigglypuff just amused me even more, because I'm like, could you pick a gayer Pokemon? Like, I know it's obviously a bit stereotypical and all the rest of it, but come on, it's a pink balloon that sings. But yeah, it's cool to see how that's doing, and hopefully like that will keep Nintendo afloat for a while when we've got things like the Wii U just being barren for a year. I just want to play it. I just want to play it right now. Let me play it now, please. Thank you. And on that note, I think it is time to end this little chatty corner. If you've got any thoughts on any of the stories that I talked about, and again, like, let me know what you've been playing. Let me know if you've got any memories of the games that I'm playing, and of course any suggestions and improvements and all that kind of stuff that you want to make. Let me know that too. Just let's get chatty. That's the whole point. Let's do it. Let's get chatty. So yeah, on that note, I will see you around. This week this will go up at the same time as the first of a double update of Tomb Raider this week. So there's going to be 2 episodes of that. There is going to be 2 episodes of Gravity Rush this week, but they're going up at the same time, because one is basically the end of the game, the other one's kind of a sort of impromptu special edition where I kind of talk about the mysteries of the Gravity Rush plot over the concept art section of Gravity Rush Remastered. So it was just something that I did at the end of the LP and just tacked it onto the end, so I've like put that into its own separate video for people that are interested. So that's going to be fun. There will be a Ferret's First Up on Friday as well. There will be one a week as well. So look forward to that. And I guess all that's really got to be said at this point is follow me on Twitter for updates. Donate to me on Patreon if you've got the money and want to support the channel in some way. I would be hugely appreciative of that. And I hope you have a good week, and I'll chat to you next week. Bye, everybody.